So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our final replay cast of the day. And some of you guys, especially the human players, might say that we saved the best for last. And that means we're going to go into a crazy human mirror match. On AleX, you guessed it, we had one game of Last Refuge, but then things already take us back to AleX, which seems to be the predetermined map for awesome games as of late. I talked about this a little earlier, you know, when I highlighted some of the properties of AleX. First of all, it's a relatively small map. Secondly, there's only one expansion place on each half of the map. So almost like a chess match or a match of Go, you know, you can always kind of predict and expect what the opponent is doing. So oftentimes on this map, it just comes down to quicker execution, more precise timings, and that's what makes the game so exciting on this map, in my opinion. So let's double check on the two players. We have, of course, Effect in red and his opponent AleX in the orange colors, the orange trunks. And so far, both players are going for the exact identical build. Altar first, barracks, double farm. Are we going to see double expansion here, by the way? If you compare human gameplay to, let's say, a couple of years ago, when humans were really in their prime, you know, humans for a long period of time in the history of Warcraft 3 have been considered to be the strongest race competitively. Fast expansion back then were always a thing. Against any race, almost, on any map almost, you could almost always do it. These days, ever since the major patch changes with 1.30 and 1.31, Militia's not really as strong anymore. Some of the other aspects of human not as strong anymore. So fast expansion are usually considered to be a little more risky. And man, we see a Mountain King into an Archmage. So AleX going the more traditional route, with an Archmage, the crucial backbone of every human army. And we see Effect with a Mountain King. Mountain King fast expansion, baby, let's go. Fast expansion style, or fast creep. Sorry, it could also be a mercenary camp creep. I shouldn't get too excited about it. Yup, it is a creep. It's still good, in my opinion. Does it very nicely. Walks in with the Mountain King first, and goes for clap first, by the way. AoE damage value, yes, baby. Please pick me against mercenary camps like that, where there are so many neutral monsters surrounding you. Great AoE value, great AoE damage. And level 2, right off the bat. This is the beautiful thing about this mercenary camp. It gives you level 2 right away. In the meantime, we see a little bit of a slower start for AleX, who went Archmage, Water Elemental, double green spot. Of course, does also get level 2. Takes a little bit longer, but doesn't have to use militias. So that means he's going to get more resources in the meantime. So his tech should arrive a little bit sooner, right? And let's see what the follow-up play by Effect is going to be. We see an orange footman, by the way. I think we're going to change colors if that's possible. In a replay, I don't think it is, though. So, excuse-moi. Red and orange could look similar a little bit, so we're going to try our best not to get confused. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if there was a fast expansion play now by Effect, because he's like, you know what, I'm not going to have an early tech as well, so I might as well just go for the fast expansion and then try to make up for the lack of tech with double income. And only now do we see AleX come in with his own mercenary camp creep. And is he going to take those militias right over to the gold mine? Is that going to be not really a fast expand anymore, but is that going to be a double tier 1 expand? Interesting. I mean, the red footy of Effect scouts this, sees no tech, sees almost the exact identical build that he's got in his own base, and now he knows what's up. He knows exactly what's going on, and immediately the Mountain King and his friends sells items, even the claws of attack, buys a telestaff and boots, and teleports into the main base, to the footman. With the Thunderclap, he's going to wreak absolute havoc in the base of AleX. Gets first blood. Another one. Make it a quad kill, baby.
That's my boy.
But now, of course, with superior base layout, the thick Mountain King cannot squeeze himself through that gap. And is he going to get locked in now? Ooh. With good body blocking and good micro, AleX could block in the Muradin. I mean, technically he's a Muradin. He could lock in the Mountain King, who uses Telestaff to get into the base, so he can't use it again, should still be on cooldown, but he does have a TP. Gets another worker kill, by the way. Is he going to go for the red one here? Ooh, Alex, you shouldn't have let this guy go back home. You should have left him in vacation. And here goes the TP scroll. The footman is not abandoned, and the Mountain King walks out. And you know what? That is 350 gold for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 workers, plus the delayed income in the main base. I say worth, and tick it off with a big fat green check mark, because that was absolutely amazing. On top of that, the icing on the cake, of course, the experience. And look how quickly Effect is power building this shop, because he realizes we need healing. Right? We need healing because we took so much damage. And of course, AleX knows exactly how much damage the Mountain King had taken. So he smells his window of opportunity of launching a counterattack, killing some of the peasants that are building this expansion, knowing very well that the weakened units and the weakened Mountain King cannot retaliate. So that was really, really cool. Can he use his auto attacks here, or the Water Elemental, to deny the clarity and healing process? I like it. I like it. That being said, though, Mountain King level 3, very likely going Clap 2. Clap level 2. Once again, unfortunately, we don't have the overlay. Ever since the most recent hotfix patch, something didn't really go that well. Maybe I'm also too silly to make it work, but man, that's the level 4 right there. Now we're going to have level 2 Bash, level 2 Thunderclap. I haven't seen a single Stormbolt in this game, so I don't think he even went... Ah, never mind. Level 2 Stormbolt, level 2 Clap. Feels good. So we have the single target burst and the AoE damage. Nuke. That being said, though, there's still a considerable number of units and the Archmage with the Water Elementals to build up additional pressure. 2 Priests, though, to take care of the Mountain King's health. Tries to actually dispel the Water Elemental for extra XP. Very nicely done. Stormbolt to the face. Goes over on the Archmage, and that is a kill or a TP. One of the two. Goes for the TP. Wonderfully done. Dude, Effect, in my opinion, has got this early game on lock. The Mountain King is a mid-game machine. With strong claps, strong storm bolts, enough mana, he can tear an army apart. Especially when it's an army of footies. In AleX's defense, though, I think he didn't really lose that many units. He lost tons of workers, true, but his army is still looking pretty decent. And you know, he's actually not too far away from level 4 himself, so that's going to be nice. Brilliance are level 2. Always appreciated. The Mountain King, in the meantime, is trying to establish shop control with an Invul Potion, maybe a Scroll of Healing. Let's see how much money he's got and what he's willing to invest into this. Gets a Wand of Lightning Shield. Not the worst item, especially if he wants to use it on a footy for additional AoE damage in a peasant line. Ooh, the AoE damage potential here I like, and there goes the Scroll of Healing. Alright. So if only he can heal all the way through. Get the Mountain King into decent HP conditions. And he can probably launch round 2 in AleX's base. Could have actually considered buying an invisibility potion here. And then walk into the back line here. Look at how many workers we've got here. These peasants are begging to be thunderclapped. And with an invisibility potion, you would have basically made sure that the Arcane Tower doesn't suck the mana off you, you know. But this is exactly what I was talking about. Lightning Shield to soften them up. And the Mountain King to finish him up. Doesn't even need the Mountain King, it seems, though. Lightning Shield not good enough, though. Intentionally leaves Footman behind, of course. Uses the Telestaff. No TP. To deal with the counterattack by AleX. So both humans using their footies to deal terrible, terrible damage onto the opposing side's worker lines. Now with the militia, of course, and the towers, this should be an easy cleanup here. But yeah, both players getting some experience thanks to workers, and both players taking some significant economic damage. So at this point, I think it's hard to say who's got the upper hand. We see the first Arcane Sanctum coming into this game. On the counter side here, on Alex's side, we see a blacksmith. And no additional tier 2 tech buildings, right? Because the tech has only been done now. So we're going to actually check it out live in action. Mountain King versus Archmage. Usually a good trade for the Mountain King. Tries to get some of those footies, though. Gets dangerously close to level 5, which means level 3 clap. He's going to go all clappers in this. Gets 1 footy, 2 footies, 1 more, and he's going to be there, right? Or 1 water elemental. There it is. I think that might have actually been a level 3 Stormbolt. The surround here, very unclean for effect. Could have definitely tried to go for that, but the invisibility potion would have thwarted all those, you know, all those attempts anyways. And we see a relatively unspectacular Archmage second. What about here? So basically, these two players are switching it around in terms of hero order. And we now see Alex's own Mountain King. It always interests me to kind of theory craft about the very late stages of the game and, you know, ask myself a question of which hero gets scary at level 6 with ultis available. Is the mobility of a mass teleport more threatening than an Avatar Mountain King? On certain maps, I would say abso-freaking-lutely. On this one, not necessarily, because it's a small map, where rotation speed against a TPing army can sometimes be done just by running. On a larger map, all day, every day. Alright. The Mountain King this time, listening to Daddy Kendrick's advice, bought an invisibility potion, and is trying to find an opening here. Dude, that is probably 1 clap to kill 2 or 3. And if he uses it in the lumber line here, it could be 2 claps for everybody. Like clap, clap. That's gonna be it. But you know what? AleX doesn't even care about it. He forces the Mountain King back by launching a little bit of a counterattack himself. And this is so crazy. If I was Effect, I would have actually reinforced this position with more towers. Because AleX has been doing nothing then go for the expansion 24/7. Is he going to get a kill here in the Mountain King? Level 1? Easy? Yep. Doesn't really care about that though, AleX that is, because a level 1 hero, the only thing you kind of don't want, why you don't want to do it is because of experience. But in terms of death timers, that is very much negligible. It'll be back in no time. Also giving pretty much a lot of experience over 2 effect with these water elementals. Like he's almost 5.5. 2 invulnerability potions. This Mountain King is designed to become a killing machine. Is designed to be the relentless, you know, in-your-face obstacle that the enemy cannot overcome that easily. Double Arcane Sanctum, double Priests. Let's go.
A player's forces are under attack.
Priests over here. And now we see a workshop go down. Is it going to be mortar teams? Is it going to be flying machines? Griffin Aviary. Huh. Only 1, though. Could that be a tech switch into Griffins? Dude, and AleX is back again. Back at it again. But this time, the Invisible Mountain King is here to find this guy that has been such a thorn in his side. And immediately the town portal gets forced. I love that he used it right away, because another Stormbolt, even a clap, that could have been the end of it. With, you know, following body blocks and stuff like that, the clap definitely would have been enough. I think in this matchup on this map against that kind of playstyle, Sentry Wards would have been a golden find sometimes. Because you always know when the Archmage of the enemy is, you know, making his ride over. And here we see a second Griffin Aviary. So I think it must be mass Griffins now. Yep. Here we go. The flying hammers are soon going to be thrown and tossed onto the right human. Does he know? Hard to say if he knows. There's a flying machine for scouting purposes. Okay. I am not sure if Effect knows about the incoming double Griffin production. He doesn't have a single anti-air unit. Goes for the Paladin third, makes the trifecta of human heroes complete. Inner fire, almost done. But he has no clue, does he? He's got no clue about the upcoming air superiority from AleX. Goes for a Paladin of his own, by the way. So both humans with 3 heroes now. You want to make sure that your Griffins are hidden. You don't want to set a rally point onto the hero, onto the map, when you don't have a critical number. So you catch your opponent off guard. Knights too. Knights, Spellbreakers, and Griffins. Against what is only Priests and Spellbreakers. Oh boy. With good focus fire by those Griffins. Priests basically get 2 or 3 shotted. The water elemental is so important to keep, you know, the attention away from his own half of the map. Here we go. 1, 2 are being queued at the same time. The Storm Hammers with splash damage, basically. Oh boy, that is going to be so tough. The only units the Griffins can't attack is the Spellbreakers. But Knights, they're going to shred to pieces. Magic armor destroys heavy armor. One of the greatest counters. Spellbreakers against Spellbreakers. So basically these 2 human players have almost identical armies, with the exception of the Griffin Riders. And that could make or break the game. The Mountain King, as good as he is, he can't attack air units. Clap doesn't affect air units. He could have... he's got a Staff of Sanctuary, but no Orb of Fire. With the Orb of Fire, that would have allowed him to also attack air units. But looks like that one is not being utilized right now. Blizzard, Stormbolt, Focus Fire on the Orange Paladin. Needs to run for his life. I think he saw them. I think Effect now saw the 2 Griffins, right? If he runs away now, he saw them. If he goes for a follow-up chase attack, perhaps he didn't saw them. Didn't see them. This game is anyone's game at this point. I think AleX has the upper hand with mass Griffins. He keeps pumping out Griffins 2, 3 at a time. And when are we going to see the first anti-air measures coming in from Effect? Flying machines. Soon to be deployed with flak cannons. Those guys are actually surprisingly strong. And in decent numbers with a critical mass, probably the strongest anti-air unit in the game. Because of value, because of AoE damage, and building time. Here we go. A lot of Griffins in the mix now. The Inner Fire helps with additional armor to make these units a little bit more resilient. But there's no anti-air. Look at these Knights. 7 armor and they're falling like flies. Like not so knightly flies. Boom, boom, boom. But 1, 2, 3 flying machines. Needs to be careful here, AleX. Don't get overzealous here. Don't get greedy. I mean, Griffins, if they direct their attacks onto the flying machines, could probably kill those too. But that is a waste of effort. That is a waste of resources. You want to hammer down those Knights. Another one falls. And not only do Knights take a lot of time to be rebuilt, not only are they relatively expansive, they also drop juicy experience. Okay, Stormbolt even onto the Griffins right now, who are also inner fire, more damage and armor. Holy macaroni, those Griffins could really seal the deal here, ladies and gentlemen. What about hero levels? 5 and something? 5.5 for the Mountain King. Anyone's game. I think at some point, the flying machine numbers on the side of Effect will overwhelm the Griffins. Does he produce... Oh, he's producing flying machines to counter the flying machines. A lot of units are going to come from behind in this game, ladies and gentlemen, to counter the flying machines respectively. Flying machines can be repaired by peasants, by the way. Usually it's not worth doing so, though, because they're so cheap. They're so quickly rebuilt, and it's usually not worth to, you know, ignore resources for a little bit of repair time on a relatively weak unit. So here we go. We've got 9 flying machines for the red player. Somewhat 5 or 6 for AleX. Of course, Griffins can be used to fire at the enemy's flying machines as well. Don't underestimate the water alleys either. Level 3 water alleys, let's go. Oh my goodness, it's so much anti-air now. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Flying machines everywhere. Inner fire flying machines. Let's go. Who's going to have air superiority? This combat, this battle is all going to be decided in the air. Looks like the red player, looks like Effect has got things under control for now, but the Griffins are still hammering things away. They're dealing terrible, terrible damage onto the enemy units. One flying machine after the other is falling. What about the heroes? It's very hard to spot the heroes even when there are so many flying units covering them. And that just, it doesn't just count for us as spectators or casters in this situation, but also for the players. If you've ever played a game in which both armies are heavily supported by air units, you're going to find it so difficult to actually focus fire or click on something because these air units will always, you know, hover in your sight. So these fights are going to get very scrappy, quite literally. Lots of spare parts are going to fly around. And I think at this point, Griffin production needs to stop. Yep. He still has a decent number of them, although they're pretty hard. Doesn't he have a shop, by the way, here? Wait a minute. Oh, he's got a shop at the expansion, but he TP'd to the main base. When you double-click on the TP scroll, it always TPs you to the nearest location. Looks like in that case it was the main base. Kind of weird. Maybe he manually also TP'd back into the main base, so the enemy army wouldn't have such a short walking distance to follow up with the damage. Ooh, speaking of damage, big damage coming on to the Orange Paladin. Stormbolt into Blizzard, very dangerous. And I think Blizzard on the second hero of Effect could make all the difference. While the opposing Archmage still has water elementals, which can get dispelled by Priest in the nick of time. The Blizzard not only adds additional follow-up damage onto a storm-bolted target, but adds so much AoE value onto the enemy units in the air. And I think the Archmage, like, we gave a lot of credit to the Red Mountain King in the beginning, right? But I think now the shining superstar for Effect is the Red Archmage. Where's the Blizzard at, though? We don't see it right now. The Orange Mountain King has actually fallen, only level 2, though. Looks like there was a lot of focus fire going down with his brother-in-arms, the level 5 Mountain King, which could actually turn into level 6 soon, right? He's almost there. If he finds another kill, whether it's a hero or a unit, that could be it. Spellbreaker, 1 baby. But it looks like Effect needs to pull back right now. The air units are reigning supreme yet again. And it looks like in this fight, he focused so hard on getting a hero kill. And oftentimes when you try so hard to kill enemy heroes, you lose units. To the point where even if you get the hero kill, you cannot continue the fight anymore. And look at these fast Griffins too. So much damage, so much focus damage from those units. This is anyone's game. The inner fire is so hard to deal with as well. On the one hand, you want to have your priests spam inner fire. On the other hand, you also want your priests to dispel the enemy's inner fire. So, human being a very micro-intense race to begin with, I think in this game, they're gonna drive it to the max. So many things you have to do at the same time. Air units, dispel, casting, surrounding, hero focus fire. This is the beauty of WarCraft 3 in the later stages of the game, when both players have a tremendous force to control, and this is really where, you know, individual skill comes into play. Decision-making, split-second decision-making, personal skill in terms of micromanagement. This is where it really comes down to. But look at those friggin' flying machines. Is he still building more? Yes, he is. He really wants to get rid, Effect that is, he wants to get rid of those Griffin Riders. If he's dealt with the Griffin Riders, his ground units can reign supreme. Killing sheeps here. Press F to pay respects for the sheep. Many critters and sheeps have died throughout the history of WarCraft 3. Yet we want to stress that no real sheep were ever harmed while making the game. Could this be the game-deciding attack here, launched by Effect? Inner fire, preemptively cast manually on all the flying machines. Look at it. Look at the beauty. Look at all those golden horseshoes. And here, what does AleX really have to throw into the ring against that army? Are we going to see a focus on the expansion, the Blizzard hailing down from the sky onto the peasants who could try to repair? We have very little damage, actually. No siege damage either. I mean, flying machines could, of course, drop the bombs, but with the towers and stuff, it would probably be too risky. And here we go! The flying machine battle is raining! It is raging on right now! The Griffins under heavy focus fire, but the Orange Army, it just looks too compact. His own flying machines are keeping the Griffins safe and sound. The bodyguards are too strong. His Mountain King has fallen once again. The red heroes reigning supreme, but the units, it's all orange. Who's gonna win this one? Avatar for Cosmodon! Effect is trying to hold this by himself, but what are you gonna do, Mighty Mountain King, when you are surrounded by air units? Guess what? The Griffins, they cannot attack the Avatar. He's magic immune, so even magic damage units can't attack him, but is it even needed? At this point, is it even needed? The heroes alone, the Paladin and the Archmage, to be exact here, they drove him back. The Telestaff had to be used. That is absolutely crazy. A one-man army, not enough. And I want to see an Orb of Fire. An Orb of Fire on maybe both of those heroes at some point, you know? To deal with those air units. These battles take very similar courses. Hero-wise, Effect is reigning supreme. Unit-wise, he is losing every single time. These Griffins seem to be untouchable. 3 upgrades, by the way. Lord praise the Griffins. What a unit. What a unit. And what is Effect going to do against that? More flying machines. What really else is there in the arsenal of a human player to deal with this number of air units? Siege tanks with the upgrade. Takes too long. Too expensive. Dragon Hawks. He doesn't even have an aviary. Not an option. So I think with the tools that Effect has, he is stuck on flying machines. He needs to get an armada of flying machines. The problem with flying machine against flying machine is if you ever lose the air battle, you can never come back. Unless you have an economic advantage, which allows you to have more production facilities, which allow you to ultimately catch up in numbers again. But 2 base versus 2 base, flying machine versus flying machine, I think AleX has got this on lock if he doesn't make any crucial mistakes. And that's why I would love to see an Orb of Fire, to have additional air support. A tiny Stormbolt onto the level 6 Mountain King's face. He takes so much damage, he wasn't prepared for that. He's probably going to be forced to use the lesser invul. If he doesn't use it, he's probably dead. One more Stormbolt to the face. Good thing his colleague doesn't have enough mana. That was quite the sweaty forehead moment here for Effect. If he even has to use the invul, like every item matters at this point. If he's forced to waste just one of those, that's really bad news for him. In terms of food, by the way, we've got 74 for AleX and 50 for Effect. Over 20 food of an advantage. How can one Mountain King swing this around? And finally, ladies and gentlemen, we see the Orb of Fire. In my opinion, the Orb of Fire came way too late. He was sitting on so much money, on so many resources the entire time. If he had bought this one earlier, he could have bought a second one by now onto the Paladin, which would have given so much extra air damage. But is it too little too late right now? Is the Orange Air Army just flying in and bombarding everything? Once again, it is the Orange Mountain King that gets focused down. But where is the Air Army for Effect? It's coming a little bit late. It's trying to come from behind. But yeah, I think the Griffins are reigning supreme. Murden. The Red Mountain King, does he have what it takes to hold this? Tries to clap his way to victory, but no! It is not enough. Cosmodon has been defeated, and despite Effect being in a major lead for the majority of the game, it is AleX who's remaining laughing at the end, and who takes this game home with the cheapest unit in the game. But once you have enough numbers, you know, even those tiny stings, they become a sore pain in the butt. So ladies and gentlemen, that was it. Probably one of the coolest human mirrors I've seen in a long time, with unusual army compositions and a lot of effort and a lot of love to flying machines. I think this game could probably be labeled as a tribute to flying machines and how small units can make such a difference regardless of their size. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this game. If you did, let me know by dropping a thumbs up on YouTube, a comment in the comment section down below, and maybe leave a subscription if you want to see more Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 3 Reforged in the future. Thank you so much for your attention. Peace out. See you in the next video.